yeah, today we're gonna look at some highlights from the candidate moves. Hi everyone. Yeah, let's start with this game. Dragonanda against the Basov. So Basov just played King G7 on move 40, which was mistake. Okay, he also misplayed it a little bit earlier. And now White is winning. How is White winning? It needs to be a 2-move variation at least. Not just one move, but 2 moves. It's very important. Okay, very good, Vishwa. Some of you might already know it, but yeah, if not, then it's a good exercise. Okay. Okay, most of you got the right move. Yeah, it's Rook A5. Now, if we start with A4, then after Bishop D2, Bishop E1, there's too much counterplay here. And black is actually fine in this position because you're gonna Rook B2, and black is doing okay here. So after A4, do I think Hikaru will win today? That's a good question. Hikaru. Oh, looks like now he is winning, but it's still a bit complicated. We'll see. Maybe. So A4 does not really work because black gets too much counterplay with the rook and the bishop. Rook A5. Now, what happens if King G6? Because black probably was counting that King G6 might still be okay for them. How does white win then? Okay, very good, Angela. Very good, Vishwa. Maybe a little bit more time here. This is not so obvious, actually. Okay, so we have a lot of candidate moves here. So far, not a lot of people got it, so it's not so easy. So I guess that's why Basov missed it. Or he might have thought he's fine, especially at move 40. Didn't have a lot of time to calculate, but it turned out. Yeah, so the only winning move here is actually A4. Because the thing is, the rook is still trapped. But take 5, 8, 6, 8, 7. And yes, your goal is just to promote that pawn. And yeah, they can't really do anything because after takes, the knight is just such a brilliant piece here. It controls everything, right? Like it's controls this, controls b8. And if you go to d6 or c7, then you control c5 and b6, right? So it's quite incredible. quite incredible um, harmony, how the knight just controls literally every square, right? And even this, you still come in here and then you go a7. Yeah, so black tried g3 after this. Yeah, bishop d6 also does not help. Takes a5. Black tried this, takes here. And black resigned because after bishop e3, have c5. A4 was winning, but the other moves, they don't win. For example, rook a6 check, I don't know, something like f6 or king g7 are fine, right? If knight f8, king f6, okay, we can make a draw with some repetition, with some perpetual check, but no real win. b5, I think allows some rook d5, rook d2 counter, right? So yes, you could trust me. Yeah, I checked it with engine. Yeah, nothing else wins here besides this move. So a4 is a very important tempo, right? Because you want to push the pawn while still ensuring the rook trade. Okay. Another interesting game was Perugia against Gukesh, which Gukesh lost in a very heartbreaking fashion. Yeah, Black tried this interesting idea against London system, trying to exchange these bishops. Yeah, objective at some point, White should try to make a draw, but of course Perugia didn't really want the draw since he was at -4 at this moment. So he played c4, rook g8, rook a1, queen b4, b3, knight c5, knight d4. Yeah, knight c5 was a strong move that Perugia said he missed. Knight d4, knight e4, rook e3, queen c5, rook c1, and here rook d8 maybe was a slight inaccuracy, although it's still decent, but there were other moves that were better, like I think rook ac8 or maybe even rook fc8. And the reason gets shown in this position. So how should white play in this position? To white is of course worse, down a pawn, not a lot of compensation, but how to sort of get some counterplay and make it a little bit messy. Here Perugia found a nice idea and sort of got back in the game thanks to it. Okay, very good, Santos. Yeah, first move is correct at least. Vihan got it. Okay, most people are getting it. Um, um, okay. Okay, sure. Yeah, so the best move is before. Well, at best maybe minus 0.8, 0.9. I mean, it was pretty complicated. I mean, it was never really winning. Um, he had to be pretty precise. Yeah, he had to play this so that after b4, I guess he could take. This is a better version somehow. Yeah, b4 is a very important move. If you don't play b4, like for example, if you do this, queen d5, and it's not so clear how to follow up. Like there's this. Yeah, b4, because sort of this is a threat at some point. Well, I guess if you don't play, then it's hard to create counterplay. Black will just go here, play dc, and be up a pawn simply. So we can try to explore other moves. For example, CD Queen D5, I think is just good for black. If F3, I guess just Knight G5, and then you weaken this diagonal. G4, I think, was suggested, but then yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe still Knight G5. Bishop H4 is an interesting move, by the way, after G4. So yeah, the other moves are just not as effective. I'm sorry if I missed some move, but again, it's hard when there's 40 something people. Might miss some answers. So I apologize in advance for that. So yeah, anyway, before is the best move. Perugia played it. Black took, take. And now the point is if you take here, it's not actually knight f5 as was suggested because of bishop c5 potentially. But rook b3 is stronger, and then rook b7. And okay, this endgame, it's close to equal, I think. So yeah, he played knight takes f2, king takes f2, rook takes d5. And I guess you could argue that Perugia got a little bit lucky because he said in an interview that he missed this knight f2 and he assumed that he's losing in this position. But it turns out that he had a defense. By the way, the best move objectively was to play a5. But not an easy move to play. This looks very natural. In fact, this looks winning. But of course, here White found the right defense. But of course, once you're here, it's easy to find it. But I mean, I guess the luck was that the move was there for him when it could have easily been that he was losing because he didn't really see any of it ahead of time, right? So that's where sometimes you can get a little bit lucky in chess when you haven't seen something ahead of time, but then the resource happens to be there for you. It's a completely only move. If you don't find it, you lose. But it's there. Yeah, so IZ, I think that's actually what Perugia planned to play originally. That's what he said. Let's see. Most people got it, but not everybody. By the way, yeah, that was a good question. So first of all, the answer is Queen B3. Okay, so I see Queen E2 was suggested, but Queen E2, Bishop takes D4, and I don't really see how we follow this up. It looks like we just lost a piece. Yeah, Rook C4, Bishop takes, I think. Bishop takes E3 with check. So that will not work. Let's see. What else was suggested? Knight takes E6 I saw appeared, but I don't really see the big idea. Wait, why isn't it? Is it Queen? Oh, Queen E4, I guess. Yeah, but at 96, I feel like almost everything wins for black after 96. I think Rook B1 I saw was suggested, in which case I think Queen C3 wins. Rook C1. What was it? What was the move? That's down the queen move. Oh, bishop takes d4. Sorry, bishop d4, rook c3, bishop e3. Yes. Yeah, and if this, then rook d4. So rook b1, queen c3 looks like it wins. What else was it? Knight c2, I think also just queen e4. Yeah, so yeah, 96. Yeah, so on rook c5 is that's what Perugia said in an interview. He was originally planning to play, but this position is lost for white. Black's up material has these extra pawns, e5 is falling, and white's king is weak, so it is winning. But of course, white has queen b3, and it works because after rook d4, you can go here, and somehow everywhere white is fine, maybe even better. but at the very least, fine. And if rook takes, you have this, and white emerges up a piece for a few pawns. So queen b3 just saves the days. Now, there was a question, what happens if queen b3 immediately? But then rook takes d4, right? And then looks like it's game over. So yes, bishop e3, bishop c5, queen b3 is the point. So black played here, knight takes, bishop takes e3, rook takes e3, a5. Yeah, in this position, I would say it's even easier for white to play. And they were both in immense time pressure. But Firouzja had no pressure on him because he was already -3. His chances of winning were practically gone at this point. Yes, yeah, he had to play bishop e3. Yeah, a4, knight c5, rook here, knight d7. Knight d7 was a great move, by the way. A lot of commentators were praising it. The point is that a3 is now met with this. And then rook h8. It's really nice. Yeah, so since you can't play a3, knight b6 is threat, and this is still a draw, apparently, with if you play perfectly. He had to play some tough moves. I think this line is apparently a draw with these rooks on the pawns in the 7th. Yeah, white only has a draw here. But okay, yeah, black made a mistake here, king h7, and then a rook f3, and white won, knight f8, and it was mate. So really nice finish for Firouzja. Okay, the next game we'll take a look at is yeah, Lachlan missed the winning chance in this game. Several actually, but the most notable was in this position. So here, what should white do in this position? Andrew, the move is correct, but the line is not, because you cannot take with the bishop, it's pinned. Okay, I see a lot of people are getting it wrong, because I think we're not looking at all of opponents' ideas here. Yeah, because Lachno also made the mistake here. So I guess it's not so easy. Oh, bishop f4. Well, that's okay. Creative. We'll look at that as well. Let's see. So let's see. Say 2 more minutes, maybe. Yeah, the goal is to try to look at opponent's resources against the most natural move. Try to consider all of opponent's resources, right? Like that's a big key here. Well, not just here, but in many positions. When we calculate, we have to try to really force ourselves to look at all of opponents' resources, especially their active counterplay moves. White probably assumed they're just winning, but it was not. Well, it was winning, but not the most natural way. Um, okay, I guess we could start going over. Let's start with the most natural. So d7, that will be bad because if king goes back, it's mate. King takes queen d6. So that's eliminated. Bishop takes h4, also not good. Takes. Now you have to play d7, and now you could give perfect. At the very well, actually, you have queen d6 and you're winning, but at the very least, there was perpetual. Bishop f4 was suggested. That was interesting. Takes d7, but again, that's just queen g3, queen e1 still, and at the very least, you can do perpetual. Maybe black can even win. I don't know. Maybe f3 is actually winning because you're threatening mate. And if you take queen d6, but yeah, I guess you could take, and then maybe king h7. Yeah, it's a weird position, right? Like maybe black can even play for a win, but maybe not. But at the very least, black has a draw, so you don't want to go bishop f4. Mm. So it's mainly between bishop e5 and bishop f2, and I guess maybe bishop e1, but bishop e1 doesn't make too much sense, I feel. King g1, I just take the bishop and then queen b1. So bishop e5 is, of course, the most natural move, but here black has a pretty logical move, pretty simple move, because of that move, bishop e5 spoils it. Yeah, so now people are getting it. Mm. Not everybody though. Most people, but not everyone. Yeah, so queen e6, of course, right? And now the bishop moves queen d6, right? So you cannot hold on to the pawn, and it's just a dead draw, completely dead draw, and yeah, they repeat it. So queen e6 was overlooked, I'm sure. Yeah, because of queen f5, it's not the same. Queen e8, d7. I saw somebody put the line queen f5, queen e8, but the point is we have to really consider all of our opponent's ideas. And same thing with f6, d7, right? Wins. So you might think, okay, bishop e5 wins, but you can only make such a conclusion once you consider all of their ideas, right? By the way, g4 also does not work, I'm pretty sure, because again, just take. And if queen takes, I don't know. Yeah, queen f3, maybe also a6. It just doesn't seem like it does very much. I mean, it's maybe still not so easy, but okay, queen e6 is cleaner. So the right idea was bishop f2. Queen takes d6, king h1. If queen d1, we have, I guess, bishop back. And actually, the diagonal g1 to a7 is just very powerful. It helps promote the pawn on a7 and also defends the king very nicely. So, and you're also threatening queen d4 checks. So white is completely winning in this position. Okay, so let's take a look at the next example. This is Muzichuk. Uh, and so this one, white was pressing almost the whole game, and white is winning here. But black is defending tenaciously. And now we get this rook endgame, and black just played king f5. So we need to try to find the best idea here for white. Oh, some of you might have seen it, of course, when there are 50 students, then it's going to be hard to find something that somebody didn't see, right? So Yeah, that's why I'm including some games from the women's also. Yeah, because that way, um, um, let's see. So we have rook d4. Let's see what else do we have. We have rook g8. We have rook g8 again. Rook f8. Rook d6. Okay, so some of the more natural moves. King f7. Okay. Some of you, I think, know this. I have rook d2 or rook d1. I have rook d5. Okay, so we basically have every suggestion. In d6 even. Okay, interesting. Rook d1 now. Okay, some of you have it, yes. Sam, I think, has it. Yeah, so basically there are two solutions. You have to, it's like same idea, right? It could be two different move orders. So let me show you first what happened in the game. And the game was rook d5, and black goes king f4, very important. King takes f6 here. And I think a lot of people might have assumed that this is winning, but in fact it's not, because you can knight in this position. If this is moved one rank, one file over, then that would be a different story, right? But here it's, yeah, so king e3, knight h2 here, knight g8, and yeah, black is doing fine. So, yeah, so that's, okay. So I heard Fabi won. Guess Hikaru might also be winning. So yeah, the tournament is spicing up. Uh, yeah, no, I think it's like still six people in contention, right? Everyone besides Ferrugia and Abasov are still in contention, so it'll be interesting. Who am I rooting for? I honestly don't really care so much, because I'm not really friends with any of these guys. I've played most of these guys actually. I've played all of these guys at some point. Um, um, yeah. So let's see. Um, yeah, Perugia also. Yes, he smoked me. Completely. Crushed me. World Team Championship. Yeah, Rook f8. G4. Yeah, Rook f8 does not work because after this, yeah, we go King e4. Um, Rook here, King f3. Here, and then black is drawing. Who am I rooting for? Yeah, I don't really have a, uh, I don't really have one, necessarily. Um, yeah, so Rook f8 doesn't really work. And let's see what else is on. Rook d6, the same problem. Yeah, takes here. FIDE rating now it's kind of dropped quite a bit. It's around low 2500s. Yeah, if you go all the way back here, g4, Rook f1, King e4, it better not be Neville. Well, I disagree. I think he kind of deserved maybe to win last time, right? So I don't mind if he wins actually. Um, yeah, here, and then queen. Yeah, it's also a draw. So the right method is rook g8, or you can start with king f7 first. Here, he already won. Okay, yeah, good. King f7, king here, rook g6. Yeah, so this wins. Yeah, and also, yeah, sorry. So king f7, g4, rook there, king up, and now king comes around. Because the goal is we need to go after this pawn. This f pawn is not as important, right? The goal is to try to get rid of the g pawn. And white is winning position. I mean, you can try also f5, but still winning. And here, you can play a waiting move, rook g7. If king goes there, you're going to come like this via f4. So, okay, very good. So let's take a look at the next example. Gokesh Abasa. Ooh, this is going to be a tough one. I'm not even going to look at the moments where Gokesh missed some earlier chances. I'm only going to look at an endgame, which already is very complicated. Going to be quite challenging. So let's see how you guys do with the endgame. Abasov is, yeah, you know what's interesting is that Abasov actually I have 0-2 against. I played him twice and I in over the board, and both times could have forced the draw, but decided to play for a win and he took over. Well, once it was World Team Championship, I kind of had to play for a win because of the team situation. And the other time was in his home country in the tournament. And so black to play here. Let's start with this position. In this tournament, yeah, he hasn't won any games yet. So that will actually be interesting to see if he actually will win a game. Not a guarantee by any means, but maybe he will. Because somebody will probably have to take a big risk at some point against him to try to fight for first, and maybe he'll get a chance. Yeah. So the other time I lost, I was a rook end game where I thought I could not lose at all ever, but somehow I found a way. So definitely not very lucky opponent. So yes, the correct move is king h7. Yes, the king on h5 is badly placed. But the refutation is of course not easy. Now white actually played incorrectly here. So the question is, how do we win here? Bastov actually could have won today, maybe. He was better at some point. So, Hikaru maybe got a nice break in this game, the break he needed to fight for first. We'll see. Yeah, definitely a good day for US today. Definitely. Oh, I'm getting flooded with answers. Okay, this is going to be tough. So first, the king f5 was the move that was played, but it was not the best move. Okay, you know what? Actually, we'll do it from the opposite way. Let's put king f5 first. Let's try to find the draw for black, and then we'll go back to the previous position because already it was like I had too many answers that it got flooded with answers that I couldn't keep track anymore. So let's try again here. Okay, Andrew got it, Connor got it. Okay, many of you might have seen this part. Okay, queen h4, no. Queen f1, no. Yeah, queen h4, then queen f3, queen f4. We'll go over that. Queen a5. I mean, I think you meant queen h4. Yeah, queen g2 is correct. Queen g2 is the draw. And you know what's interesting? If white plays what looks like a natural move, it's always possible to lose the game. You might be laughing, but I lost like this once in an over-the-board game with 50 minutes on my clock. I blundered some mate in a queen endgame. And I like this. Also, queen against, I mean, basically queen and king against queen and 2 pawns and a king. Also self-made. So queen end games, you don't mess around. You never know. You have to be careful always. But yeah, in all seriousness, yes, black will start to checks and white can't really do much. I was actually a bit surprised mm, that he didn't find it because okay, queen h4 is losing because queen here and queen f4 is easiest, right? And queen f1 was what was played in the game, but then queen f4. Um, and if there's king f6, you can't really stop the mates. White is winning here. Sorry. Yeah, it's some no, I think yeah, I guess it's still not that easy to be honest, but apparently white is winning. But this would have been a little bit better defense, but still losing with perfect play. But he played queen b5, and now it's just either a checkmate or a queen trade, basically. He tried this, and then this forced queen trade. But queen f1 also the forced queen trade in all the lines. So that's why king and h5 is kind of badly placed. But of course, king f5, tempting as it is, it does not win because of queen g2. So then the question is, what does win for white? Let's try to find the win again. I saw some people wrote down answers. Can you guys just write it again? I just want to keep track what. Okay, so queen c5, I see an answer. Queen c5, okay. Queen c5 again. Queen f4, I see. e5, queen f4. Okay, so I see queen c5, queen f4, queen g3. Okay, so queen f4. Queen f4, I don't think wins. I don't remember why. Maybe still queen g2 somehow. Apparently, this is a draw. e5, queen c6, and now you better not go to here. And okay, if you can't go to f5, then it's going to be just perpetual. So it's not e5. Let's see what else is there. Yes, it's queen g3, queen e4 problem. So the answer is queen c5. And then it's a little tricky, but it does win, yeah. So I guess it's hard to blame Gukesh for not finding it, right? Because it's not so obvious that it's winning, but yes, queen c5 only winning move. I feel like queen g2 though Abbasov could have found, right? That's the other moves maybe not as easy. Um, okay, let's look at the next one. All right, this is white to play and win. This is from a woman's. Uh, so white is winning here, but white didn't find it. Yang Yu got it. We have queen g4. Okay, so we have queen g4, rook h7. Okay. Rook h7. How do you play here? Oh, then rook a1, I think. And then we have queen e5. And then I guess f5. So here black defends. Yeah, so in the game, white played queen g4, king f7, repeated again, and then played rook g8, but this was not winning. Then they agreed to a draw, king h7, and so on and so forth. So let's see. Well, g4 here, rook a1, king h2, and now let's say queen e5, king g1. And well, at the moment there is not even a threat, so I can probably play e3. So here our harmony is not that good after g4. The correct answer is queen h4. I also don't think works because yeah, same thing. Black kind of covers all the loose ends. Yeah, so the right answer is queen e8 check. King g5, you have queen f7, which wins because of check here. Yeah, so here there's parent and mate. Where's the mate though? Probably yeah, rook g8. And it's king here, and yeah, g5 check, winning. King g6, king g6, queen e4, winning. So king e6, check here, here. Yeah, and this already looks like a winning attack. Yeah, yeah. And here you could win a queen. Nice combination. But maybe that's not the only way to win. Maybe here it's already pretty bad anyway, because the king is kind of walking around, right? So yeah, not easy, but white didn't find it. Yeah, queen e8 was the win. Okay, let's see the next one. Um, this was oh yeah, this was a Vigit game against with white against Prague. So knight a5. Yeah, this whole idea is very interesting. Here, I think Grishuk said queen d4, c5. Well, you cannot play c5 because of bishop f7. So the white is much better in this position. This is also okay. And here knight f5 is a mistake. It's better to castle here. Go for some piece sack. Well, you can't go knight e7. But yeah, in general, the piece sack line is quite promising for white. But white wasn't that well prepared in this because it was a surprise. And here, black found a strong idea. What should black play here? Okay, so we have d6, we have 97, we have bishop b4, we have g6. Okay, we have many options here. Knight h6, g6. Yeah, g6, I think just castle is the problem. You cannot take it because check and then bishop g5. Um, if you go bishop c5, then knight takes g7. 97 bishop g5 is very unpleasant. Bishop g2, rook g1 is very unpleasant. Um, yeah, bishop b4 I don't think does anything. Just d3. Yeah, so d6 is the answer. Yeah, 97 bishop g5 is pretty unpleasant. Yeah, so the answer is d6. Oh, knight h6. Yes, knight h6 Knight h6 looks weird. Oh no, then just take, right? If you take queen h5. Yeah, it's winning. Yeah. Okay, so d6 is the move. Yeah, it was probably still prep, maybe. Yeah, now it's a funny line. Yes, if ed you can go here, and here you can go here. So black is doing very well after d6, at least equal. White played there, black played there, e6, queen here, bishop g5, g6, knight e3, h6, bishop f4, knight e7, c4, d4, queen g4, queen c5, castle, and here, question, do you castle long or short? Interesting question here. A bit of a trick question, actually. Castle long or castle short? Why and why not? But yeah, you have to explain, yes. Whoever explains it best, I will call on you to give an answer. Well, actually, yeah, it could be neither. It could be neither. It's a good point. Yeah, maybe there's some other move. But okay, yeah, it is the castling is correct here, but just which way and why or why not? No, because the trick question is not an adequate answer. Okay, so we have castle short because the rook's an open file, king h7 safe, castle long, princess block, okay. Castle short because the rook is an open file, king h7 will be safe. King's on the queen side, okay. And we're attacking chances. And neither. Aha! It looks like Yu Yang got it. Yang Yu. Yeah, there's a player, Yu Yang 27 something. So, Yang Yu, do you want to tell us about explain the answer?
So the answer is a short castle because after long castle, there would be knight d5, and after knight d5, there's e7, and after rook d7, there's knight e4, and if you move the queen, then you just take the knight, and if knight f6, then knight takes f6, rook e1, rook f1, and white has complete domination.
Oh, well, I don't know if this particular line works that you said after rook e1. I mean, maybe there's bishop e5. So this specific line maybe doesn't work, but
I'm pretty sure there's after bishop e5, there's bishop takes e5, d5, and then rook a d1.
oh, you're still going. No, I thought we're okay. Yeah. So what did you want to say after this?
Bishop e5.
Yeah, d5.
D1.
Rook d1. You said.
Yeah, rook a d1.
Queen 7.
And then I think rook e5.
Okay, I mean, but I can even take, right? What's the big? I mean, I'm down a piece, right? Also could go here. Really want, right? Yeah, no, I think once I get rid of the 7th pawn, most likely it's just over. I mean, there might be other moves that are safe also, but yeah, I guess this bishop e5 is the best. Yeah, so this is correct line, but after e7, yeah, you don't need to go knight e4, you just play cd. Queen d5, knight c4, queen f5, queen g3. Yeah, and this is quite dangerous for black in general. Yeah, this is ends up being quite good for white. I mean, it's very tricky line, but yes, you were the one who came the closest to getting it right. Like you saw the big reason. Like very it's because the thing is like these general considerations here aren't really as relevant, right? Because you can argue the king is safer here. You can argue the king is safer on b8. It's hard to say, really, right? Here, in fact, it looks more natural because you might have attacking chances, but he does have the open a file. There are kind of chances for both sides. Actually, even Grishuk, when he let's say because basically I'm listening to Grishuk recaps, and unfortunately most of you probably can't listen to it because it's in Russian. But basically he does very good recaps where he talks. It's on YouTube, but it's in Russian. Um, well, where basically he first talks about the games without the engine because he watches the games live without the engine, like where he completely shares his own thoughts, and then he says what actually is the truth with the engine. And I remember he said without the engine, just okay, Castle's short is interesting, also deserves attention, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, when he watched with the engine, he said, oh yes, well there's this 95, which he didn't even see that move when he was analyzing. So it's not that obvious, this idea. And Vidit actually missed it. If he found it, it's almost like a table turning. Like instead of black having initiative and black being better, white is the one who's better, and black has to play very carefully, like not to get much worse. So 95 was like a big chance actually here with white had, and again, it's a very concrete position, right? So it's so that's why I was kind of looking for a concrete solution. Yeah. So anyway, castle long was played, but we did miss that. He played h4, rook e8, rook d1, bishop takes b2, knight d5, takes, e7, and eventually black won a nice attacking game here. It wasn't perfect, but considering that how complicated the position was, yeah, here before was a big mistake. You should have just done this. Yeah, before kind of doesn't make too much sense here, I think. And now black just starts the attack, opens up lines. Yeah, g5, g4, g3, and eventually transposed into rook endgame and won this rook endgame. White resigned. He's about to trade pair of rooks and easily winning up 2 points. Okay, this next one. Oh yeah, this one is like a kind of a cool game in the women's candidates. I think it's by Shali's first loss. Forget, I think against Han Zhongyi, or forget, no, not Tang. Forget against whom, but yeah, white played this Jabava London, and black played this very solid line, which seems very reliable. Of course, you have to play 6 because if you go here immediately, knight b5. There are other moves as well, but yeah, black chose what looks like a very solid line. And it seems like black solved all their problems. But actually, even these simple positions, white can sometimes play for a win because it's like a Carlsbad structure. And yeah, white can sort of play on the king side, get a king side attack, and black can play for the minority attack. And here, black played some strange moves. I think b5, knight a5 makes more sense, but black played this, knight a2. And what's notable in the Carlsbad is white's knight belongs on d3, or if you're playing in reverse, like Queen's Gambit decline, then on d6 if you're black. Um, Black kind of didn't play the best way, and now white started their kingside attack pretty nicely. Yeah, starts this f3, g4 stuff, and black couldn't really get anything going on the queen side because the knight on d3 just kind of controlled everything. Eventually they started opening up the game. And yeah, what to do here with white? Can't hear me. Well, I didn't say anything, guys. Didn't say anything yet. Okay, so yeah, knight of six. Very good. Knight of six. White is winning. Okay, I guess we have time for one more potentially. Um, what was this game? Oh yeah, this was the Hikaru against Vidit game. This was from round two. Um, yeah, the bishop takes h3. Yes. So if g takes h3 would have been played, what would Black's idea be? Hey. Yes, the correct idea is to play queen b8 because we need to make sure after this we have bishop c7. That was that. Because otherwise, if you play queen d6 or queen c7, there's just this move, and white is winning. So we need to be able to have bishop c7 here. Now, probably Hikaru did not want to go for this position, although probably he should have, because this is still kind of decent for white. It's roughly equal, but certainly white could play for a fight here. Queen c8 doesn't really do much because of queen f3. And I don't know, a few other moves were suggested, but yes, queen b8 is definitely the only move, that's for sure. Oh yeah, bishop c7 also was suggested, but then knight can go back. We can play f4. Yeah, so anyway, queen b8, bishop f4, bishop c7, bishop h2. Yeah, anyway, so um, yeah, so white played there. Here, now black's better here. Here, apparently, there's this queen e4, f5. Looks like, yeah, black is winning, but there's this tricky, this move and here somehow, which hard to see. So white played there. And here Hikaru thought maybe he's not doing that badly yet, but here Vidit played a very strong movement, after which he was winning. So what should black play here? Yes, bishop b6 is very good. Yeah, black has a crushing attack. If fe, then we have knight d5. So king f2, knight d5 here, king g8 here. And black won a nice game. Yeah, white just weren't in time to get developed. So yeah, so far Vidit really spoiled Hikaru's tournament, right? Like if Hikaru could even score 1-1 against Vidit, he would have been the leader now. But that's just how it goes sometimes, right? So let's see if I guess we'll see if um one of the Americans can make a comeback, still only half point behind, or Jan will run away with it. If I had to guess, I would still guess that Jan has a good chance of winning this because Jan is, I think, playing the most stable chess. He's defending well, he's good under pressure, he hasn't lost the game, and sort of taking advantage of the chances he's getting. Whereas the other people are playing a bit more nervous chess, missing chances. left and right. It reminds me a little of my own US championship in 2014. I had this kind of it was like me, Akobian, and Kamsky were in the running. And Kamsky was like not getting a lot of chances, but when he did get chances, he was taking advantage of most of them, and he was like +3. And me and Akobian we also finished at +3 in the end, but we were missing a lot of chances and playing kind of uneven chess. So, and Kamsky ended up winning the tournament. Usually experience in these situations comes through. Gukesh, I mean, he missed the big chance with Ferrugia, right? And also against Jan to some extent. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like at some point when push comes to shove and when there will be going to be nerves, it will be hard for a lot of the players. But Jan, I feel like he's playing the most stable chess and he's been in the most losing against Prague, but that's different, right? Like he just got out prepped. That's different. But he defended really well. So yes, so class is over, so I'm gonna let you guys talk now. But but yeah, we'll see. I think anyone can still win in the top 6. I mean, V did probably less likely, but he has 5 out of 10, but not completely um, okay, bye everyone.